Hello, welcome to VoltScript Ventures, Part 01 Sub A, installing VoltScript on macOS. My name is Devin Olson, and I've been doing this software development thing for a very, very long time. Some of you may have even run into me over the years. I work with an incredible team here at HCL Labs, and we've cooked up some pretty cool stuff that I'd like to tell you about. So let's start with what and why is VoltScript? Well, it evolved from LotusScript, which was a popular and well understood language, but it was getting a little long in tooth. It's based on late 1900s thinking, and it needed some enhancements to be competitive. We wanted to break free from Notes and Domino, but we wanted to remain true to the core, and in my opinion, most importantly, we wanted it to be fun, because if you don't enjoy working on your code, why do it? For more details and a much more in-depth explanation of all this, why don't you go ahead and take a look at Rocky's video, VoltScript Ventures Part 01. For VoltScript, we use Visual Studio Code as our integrated development environment. It's a nice, clean IDE. Does that mean that's the only way you can develop VoltScript? No. You can write VoltScript in any text editor. However, there's a lot of really good reasons to use Visual Studio Code, including some of the extensions that we've released for it. This video in particular is for installing VoltScript and getting it configured for macOS in an ARM environment. That's the M1 through the M4 lines and any ones that come after that. Why? Well, Intel Macs are no longer being made. Apple no longer even supports Intel macOS. The ARM architecture seems to be the architecture of the future. That's where we're going to go. If you have an x86 Mac and you really want to do VoltScript, go ahead and watch the dev container video on how to do that. All right, let's go ahead and do the demo. Install VoltScript on an ARM macOS. All right, so to download VoltScript, it's pretty darn simple. Go to the myhcltechsw.com, log in with your appropriate credentials, go to your downloads area, and from there go ahead and open up HCL Volt MX. Once you get in here, you're going to go look at VoltScript Early Access, because VoltScript is still in early access. Not that complicated. Open this up, go ahead and select the current one. Right now we have Early Access 4, just released a few days ago. So from here we're going to kind of come in and you're going to go say, hey, there's our 3 installers here. One's for macOS. We're installing for macOS, so click the download icon. Not that complicated. The other thing you're going to need is the Visual Studio Code extensions zip. Go ahead and click that icon and pull that down, and once you get those two things downloaded, they should open up in your downloads folder. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Here they are. We have the Mac installer and we have a zip file. So far, so good. Okay, the next part is pretty simple. If you haven't installed Visual Studio Code, it's not that hard. Go to code.visualstudio.com, download, and download the appropriate installer and follow those instructions. You need to have Visual Studio Code installed prior to installing VoltScript extensions. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and install this. So I'm going to go ahead and find my DMG file and just double click on it like you do on a Mac. It brings up this package. I'm going to go ahead and double click on the package. I'm going to get some a dialog that I walk myself through. VoltScript installer. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. You can read all the instructions at your leisure, but I'm just basically going to go ahead and install it. Because it is touching system folders, I do have to enter my credentials. So go. Let's go ahead and hit the install software, and it's pretty quick. There we go. Installation was successful. It has now installed it. I'm going to keep that for now just because I don't want to deal with this at the moment. Just leave that alone for the moment. Just for those of you who are curious, VoltScript installs itself to user, local, and you'll see there's an HCL folder there. HCL, and inside there is a VoltScript folder, and that's where it is. And so, yay, if you're curious about it. Pre-release agreement and other information is also in there. So let's bail out of there. And I have VS Code installed. But what I do need to get my code extensions, so I'm just going to go ahead and double click on the zip file. It expands them out to this folder because it's a Mac, and inside that folder there's some VSIX files, Visual Studio installation extensions. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Visual Studio Code, and from here I'm going to come over here to my extensions, and I'm going to come up here to these three little dots, and I'm going to say I need to install from a VSIX. Click it, and it's going to come in. It's going to say, where do you want to install it from? And I want to install it from my downloads folder and from here, and I want to select both of these. I'm going to hit install, and it's going to do its thing. Boop, boop, boop. Completed installing extensions. And if we scroll down, you'll see there's a build manager and language support. VoltScript is now installed on this Mac. And that is the end of our demo. So yay, thanks for joining us for this video. Huge thanks out to a very dear friend of mine, Bob Balaban, who was the architect for LotusScript and the architect for VoltScript. Couldn't have done this without him. Once again, thanks for joining us here at ACL Labs, and go forth and code. Be well.